Objectives. This show is dedicated to helping you find the safest.
That's tuned in, plugged in. Hey, Twyman. Hey, Gabe. And hello, South Florida. Welcome to the TGIF edition of the Real Estate Show. That's right. Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Florida. And thank God it's finished. That's right. The week is finished and we're going into a nice long holiday weekend. I see lots of folks already packed up and left the office. So maybe you're one of the many people like my good friend Gabe, who is in traffic heading south towards the Keys. I want to say it's been a great week for us here on the Real Estate Show. We've had a great week starting from Monday when we had our credit analyst and we had our equity accelerator workshop Monday night. Tuesday was a big day. We actually had our first live post-pandemic workshop, and it was attended full room. We were at the Coral Springs Country Club. We call it our Real Estate Success Summit. It was for investors. It was for realtors. And we laid down a lot of great information and kind of a state of where the market is. We had some top producing real estate agents, one of them who'd written in the last 6 months, 115 contracts on investment property for for a group of his investors. So in addition to that, we talked about the investments. We talked about the eviction moratorium. We talked about the foreclosure moratorium. We'll be talking a lot about that today too. We had a tremendous meeting. And if we have that one again, and we're talking about it, we're now looking at it at probably in about a month and a half or so, and maybe in about 45 days, because it was a big event, lots of arrangements. Of course, it was in the transition. We weren't sure if we were going to have a full house, and yet we had a full house. So I think maybe you are just as anxious as we are to get going out there in the marketplace. So anyway, on our Friday edition show that comes at you live 5 days a week, I always want to remind you that this show is a daily show. So if you're catching this today for the first time, catch us again 5 times next week. 5 days a week, we're here at 5 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. And there's 5 different ways that you can actually listen to our radio program. For those who don't know, on our AM station, 1470, AM 1470. That's part of the Money Talk Radio. It's part of the WWNN network. On the FM dial, you can reach us on 96.9 and 95.3, and I believe 106.9 if I'm not mistaken. You can reach us on the app, so you can actually take us with you on the go. So out there for Gabe, if you want to tune in on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the radio.com app, even WWNN, you can download their free app, which is a direct link right onto this radio station all day long. So you can hear us. But of course, you're going to have to be here at 5 to catch us live. And you're going to be able to listen to us on our website. So there's the 4th way at automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com. And we are, once again, expanding our team. And we're looking for a social media intern, somebody who wants to learn real estate, but who knows social media. Text the word intern to 561-861-2366. That's 561-861-2366. This could be a really neat opportunity. It could be a great win-win situation here for the radio show, and also for one lucky person who's going to get a very inside look into the real estate market, how it's done, how to become a real estate investor with all the tools and the resources that we have here going for us. So that's 5 different ways: AM, FM, app, website, automaticlandlord.com. And of course, for those of you on Facebook, you can watch us live on Facebook Live at facebook.com/The Real Estate Show. All one word, The Real Estate Show, on Facebook. If you have a Facebook page, if you don't, all you have to do is type in facebook.com/The Real Estate Show, and you're there. So this week, we always start every Monday. Recap: Monday is our Monday on a Mission edition of the Real Estate Show, where we talk about what our agenda is going to be for the week. We'll lay out our overarching theme of what we're going to talk about this week. It was all about, as the book says, doing good while doing well. And the whole premise of that is, we're in a business, real estate professionals, real estate investors, we're in a business of one of the fundamental human needs, right? Shelter, a roof over your head. And in the presentation that we gave out on Tuesday, and in other presentations that I've done, I always explain that no matter what, when you're in the residential real estate field, you're in a business that will never go away. The standing joke, it's the second oldest business out there. And whether you're in good times or bad times, people may shrink down what they can afford. They may have to team up to afford real estate, but they're never not going to do it if they're physically, mentally, and financially able to. And that's the neat thing about this. So there's always a demand for real estate. And even think about with the post-pandemic, we can work remotely, but we can't live remotely. We can't sleep somewhere remotely, and we can't store things. And that's always kind of another joke about how the size of the house determines the amount of the stuff that people accumulate. So in that, we talked about how we provide affordable housing. And I can speak here for the radio show. Number one, our mission here on the Real Estate Show is to enable, educate, and empower, triple E, enable, educate, and empower more people to have a piece of the American dream. And that's our goal. And that is, we spend a lot of time here digging up news, digging up information, showing you proven techniques that we use in our own, real life. We're not talking from theory or concept here, but from over 30 years of real estate experience, from 20 plus years of that right here witnessed on the air, through good times, through the bad times, through ups and downs, through the Great Recession, and even through the Great Pandemic. The Real Estate Show is the only show, America's longest running daily radio show, proving again that our simple and safe approach to income producing real estate works. The automatic landlord process works. And so it's up to you. And hopefully not only will you tune in here on a regular basis, but you'll also share this out and tell more people about it. Share our Facebook page out there, share the link to these live broadcasts. So we talked about doing good, which is providing affordable housing to deserving families. That's what we're all about when we're out there with our investments, is providing good quality, clean, functional, and affordable housing. We do that in several states now, and we invite you to come along. We need more investors. In fact, not only do we need you, but Uncle Sam needs you. Remember those old Uncle Sam wants you posters? And the reason I say that, because we talked on our Thursday edition, which is the ATM, or About the Money edition, we talked about how if you want to know what the government wants you to do, look at the IRS tax code. And you see how the tax code favors real estate investment. The government wants you. A strong real estate market is a strong country. A strong sense of home ownership is a much stronger community. We've talked about the research that shows that homeowners have better, more stable, well-adjusted kids. Homeowners have more successful kids in school, go to better colleges, get better jobs, and make more money. That alone, if it weren't for the fact that it's as cheap or cheaper today to own than it is to rent, that goes without saying that you have the tax benefits. That goes without saying that the average homeowner has, I believe, at retirement, if I recall the number, it was something in the neighborhood of about $240 or $290,000 in net equity, more than they'll have in their 401k programs. And the average renter at the same point in life has about 9,000. So it's almost $250,000 difference over the life of the average person. Now look at the people who actually do this on purpose. That's by accident, what I just told you. Those statistics are people who don't focus and do things about that. And so that's why doing good while doing well is so important, and why we just dedicated a whole entire week. So that was our Monday, the whole overarching conversation about that. Tuesdays is normally our tools, tips, and techniques, but with the workshop, which went from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock, we had to run the Tuesday show from last week again this week. Now jump over to our Wednesday show, where we like to go out into the news arena and talk about what the news is saying in the area of doing good while doing well. And we kind of picked up on one particular area, which is the area of forbearance. Now, forbearance, as you know, is the privilege that the banks give to a borrower, allowing them to miss or skip payments. Now, it wasn't a privilege given out of the kindness of their hearts, but it was because of the pandemic. It was because the government in the CARES Act back in March of 2020 mandated that all government affiliated lenders, those are the Fannie Mae lenders, Freddie Mac lenders, the FHA lenders, Ginnie Mae, and anything to do with the government that had government participation, government guarantees, government insurance, or any of those things, they said that you could not, the lenders, could not foreclose. And most commercial lenders, of course, didn't want to seem like the bad guy in the middle of the pandemic. So across the board, all lenders made forbearance available. And forbearance, for those of you who might not know, forbearance simply means that you are allowed to not be making payments for what was originally 3 months. So it was from March given until June. And then from June, it was another 3 months till September, and then another 3 months till December, and then another 3 months in December. They extended to March again of this year. In March again, they extended it. Here we are, a year and a quarter away. And so some folks have not made mortgage payments in a year and a quarter. By the same token, the government said the same thing, that landlords could in turn not evict tenants. And here's the important thing to remember: who were affected by COVID. And of course, how do you prove that you were not affected by COVID? That was left pretty loosey-goosey. And as a result, I think some people took advantage. To make a long story short, I got a lot of phone calls, swamped with phone calls back then, saying, Eric, my lender just offered me forbearance. What should I do? And I said, do you need it? If you don't, say thank you, but no thank you. If you do need it, that's what it's there for. It's kind of like a lot of government aid. It's really for the people who really need it. And so we went initially from over 5 million people in forbearance at when the CARES Act was first declared. Today we're down to about 2.1. So on Wednesday, in our midweek report, we talked about some of the statistics, and I gave out a bunch of numbers, some articles, some statistics, the sources. And that's what our Wednesdays are always about, is giving you the sources that sort of support what we were talking about and why you should be listening 5 days a week, and especially on our Wednesdays, one of our most popular radio shows, because people tune in order to get the inside scoop, if you will, not just what the headlines are, but with our interpretation to be able to read in between the lines. And so we talked about that. And then, of course, that leads into our Thursday show about the money. But I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break, we hear a few words from our sponsors. I'm going to blow through the rest of our week, but I've got a couple of really neat things talking about the future. So you're not going to want to miss the second half of this program. You're listening to The Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Willner. Don't touch that dial, because we will be right back. TGIF, my friends. Michael, how are you? So what are you doing for the Memorial Day weekend and going away? We got some good plans too for the Memorial Day weekend. It definitely involves the beach. Marcelo from Rio de Janeiro. What's up, my brother? My brother from another mother. I'm doing well, Michael. Doing very, very well. I'm very excited with what's going on, both in the real estate market and everywhere else. Marcelo, as you can see, is my partner in our expansion efforts in Brazil. And now we're getting ready to expand in more cities in Brazil. Our success there has been very, very good. We're looking for more people who are interested in helping us with our expansion into Brazil, which in fact is now going to expand that further. It already extended across the pond into Portugal, also another Portuguese-speaking country, both Brazil and Portugal. But it looks like we're going to be looking for an opening into Panama, into Colombia, and I'll probably announce more. Maybe that's what our topic will be next week on the radio is the global real estate expansion that's going on. And in the second half of the program, I'm going to talk to you why that expansion is not going to stop. If you think that 2008 is happening again, think again and listen in to what we're talking about here on the radio show. And welcome back for those of you just joining us here on the Real Estate Show. This is a live program heard live 5 days a week at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So no matter where you're listening to us, you can catch us live every day at 5 p.m. Eastern, either on our AM station or our FM stations, plural. All of those part of the WWNN. So just search out WWNN Money Talk Radio, and you'll certainly find a link. You can download one of the free apps that we talked about: the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the radio.com, and WWNN also has an app in wherever you get your app store, if you want to call it that. And you can always, if all else fails, just remember, I just posted it there on our Facebook Live page, the link to www.automaticlandlord.com. You can listen to our show live there. You can listen to the rebroadcast there. You can even download the podcast version right there. Hey, William, how are you? And so for those of you who would be interested in listening to us and watching us at the same time, like Michael is, like Christopher is, like William is, like Marcelo from Brazil, Michael from Florida, we've got Bob from California, and so literally coast to coast. When it comes to now with the internet streaming, pretty soon we all have hotspots in our car. Then even Gabe driving down to the Keys is going to be able to enjoy listening to this show and learning more about real estate. We're going to make Gabe famous today. Anyway, as I was talking before, our Friday here, our TGIF edition to the third power. Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Florida. And thank God we're finishing up, because after this radio show is on, I'm also out the door and going to enjoy this long weekend. But I wanted to share with you a couple of other things. Number one, Thursday, and I was giving you sort of the highlights of the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday shows in the first half. Thursday was our About the Money. We nicknamed the Thursday show our ATM edition of the Real Estate Show. So every Thursday, come shine or rain, we're going to be talking about financing. I always like to teach to our clients, what are the three most important words in real estate? Well, everyone always says it's location, location, location. And there's a lot of truth to that. And so I'm going to say that the second most important words in real estate are financing. And that's why Thursday is such an important show. Now, when it comes to financing and related to our conversation of doing well while doing good and talking about forbearance, we spelled out a number of the different ways that you can exit forbearance. What are your options if you are in forbearance right now? If you're in forbearance right now, then text the word loan, LOAN, to 561-861-2366, because I want to give you what I call my cheat sheet report on how to get out of forbearance without going into foreclosure. Foreclosure is an option according to the CFPB. Can you believe it? The government says, hey, foreclosure is an option. But I'll tell you at least 6 other options better than that, far, far better than that. Foreclosure will leave you owing money, and all 6 of my better my cheat sheet report. So remember, if you want a copy of my cheat sheet report, 561-861-2366, save that into your phone. That number doesn't change. That's the Real Estate Show's smart text line, and text the word loan to that, and I'll give you a copy of that cheat sheet. No cost, no obligation, no nothing. All you do is get great information. So that was our Thursday show where we were teaching people what to do in order to prevent any harmful effects. I just, and this is really cool news, we took somebody that was not only in forbearance, but was in foreclosure. And while in foreclosure, remember, we have timetofixmycredit.com. We've been working with this borrower, bringing their credit scores from the 500s now into the 700s while still fighting one of the lenders in foreclosure, and which is right now in forbearance. And we're going to show you a real live version of a real live person that went from in the 500s into the 700s. And I'm not talking about 701. I'm talking about 756 as of this morning. And we're going to take him out of forbearance, and he's going to end up with equity, with real estate, and with a bright future in going forward. So anyway, I want to jump over now to a whole new conversation. By the way, midweek report forbearance numbers dropped for 3 months in a row. You're going to definitely see some remarkable and actually very quick recovery when they do lift the moratorium. And that's coming. That day is definitely coming. By the way, I don't know if you knew this, and I was just pulled this out of a different article. Biden extends forbearance and foreclosure protections through June. Okay, so we are now getting ready to enter June. And so, but there's also conversation, believe it or not. And now it is only a proposal. But I just heard that they may even extend it as far out as 2022. So all of you vultures on the side thinking that there's going to be blood in the streets, it's going to be more like bruises in the streets than a bloodbath. And with all the REO companies, the asset management companies, and the banks working together, many of which have even announced that if they do have to foreclose, that they're going to maintain a lot of those properties in their portfolios. And as a result of that, they are going to not release the properties. They're going to work on getting the cash flow in order to make up for some of the lost earnings. So that's it's a very interesting development there. I was looking for a couple of slides that I have that I really wanted to share with you. And hang on a second. Yeah. So further to that exact conversation, one big reason for the acceleration in real estate were base effects. Okay. And I'm going to try to squeeze this in with a very small amount of time. At this time, a year ago, the economy was hit with the worst COVID pandemic, and inflation was unusually low. So the record high home prices are happening across nearly all markets. This is a key difference than what happened in 2008. They were big in markets, small markets, even in those metros that have long been considered off the radar in prior years for home seekers. And that was according to the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors. 99% of metro areas recorded year-over-year price increases. 89% of metro areas had double-digit price gains. But here's where I want. These are not really. I naturally expect the National Association of Realtors to say something positive about real estate, right? But how about J.P. Morgan, who's more in the business of selling stocks and taking your money out of real estate to put it into stocks, bonds, mutual funds, equities, and those things. Merrill Lynch, Goldman Sachs, and Morgan Stanley, all three had things to say about the positive real estate market going forward. This, according to JP Morgan's, their Insights report, which is a report that goes out to their internal clients. Housing prices have spiked. This is a quote, the last 6 to 9 months, but we don't expect them to fall soon. And we believe they are more likely to keep rising. If you're looking to purchase a new home, conditions now may be better than 12 months hence. They're telling you, buy real estate now. Don't wait 12 months. Those who remember the housing bubbles of 2006 and 7 may be nervous watching the U.S. housing prices soar now. But the previous bubble was fueled by speculative buying, which we do not think is the case today. JP Morgan. I'd love to tell you the other 3 major brokerage houses all have similar positive things to say about the future of real estate. Stay tuned. We got some great stuff for you this coming week. Don't miss out on one single edition. Remember, we're 5 days a week, 5 p.m. right here where you saw us. So until then, wishing you a very happy Memorial Day. This is your host, Eric Willner, signing off for The Real Estate Show. Until next week, drive safe, wash those hands, and make it a great day. Bye-bye. You got it, my friend. Have a safe holiday. Bye-bye. Hey, Brian.